So here we have a new anti-Trump ad. Let's take a look, and then I'll tell you a little bit about the people who made it.
Something's wrong with Donald Trump. He's shaky, weak, trouble speaking, trouble walking. So why aren't we talking about this? And why isn't the press covering Trump's secretive midnight run to Walter Reed Medical Center? Why do so many reporters who cover the White House pretend they can't see Trump's decline? The most powerful office in the world needs more than a weak, unfit, shaky president. Trump doesn't have the strength to lead, nor the character to admit it. We're not doctors, but we're not blind. It's time we talk about this. Trump is not well.
Again, I'll tell you about the people who made that ad in a second, but just up front, I think that ad is incredibly stupid. Because, listen, every single claim you just made against Donald Trump there can be leveled at Joe Biden and then some. Okay? Joe Biden is barely coherent, sometimes not coherent at all. I honestly believe that they fed him some drugs before his debate with Bernie Sanders to keep him good for a solid 2 hours. He's in cognitive decline. I think it's relatively sharp cognitive decline. So I think that to go down this road of like, what about your health? What about your stability? Are you fit for being president? What's going on here? I don't think you're doing well. If you open that door, oh my God, we're going to have a field day, because both of these guys, I think that they both have some issues, okay? But I honestly believe that when it comes to the cognitive department, that even though I might ideologically align more with Biden than I do with Trump, I still think that he's in sharper cognitive decline than Trump is. So, like, why are you opening this door? Why are we having this conversation? Why are you making it about this as opposed to any of the other things you can make it about if you're running an attack ad and it's politics? Make it about policy, but they didn't. Now, who made this ad? Well, the Lincoln Project is the name you saw at the end of the ad there. Who's the Lincoln Project? The Lincoln Project, it's all these former Republicans, or even some of them are current Republicans, who are anti-Trump Republicans. So there's a reason why they don't bring up ideology. They don't bring up policy. They don't bring up the real world harms that Trump is doing. Because in all seriousness, what you find with most of these elitist Republicans who are anti-Trump is that the only thing they object to is that he's crude and he has no decorum and no civility and he has no filter and he tweets off the cuff and he doesn't look like a president. He doesn't act like a president. And he's incompetent. Those are the things that the Republicans don't like. Do these elitist Republicans who are part of this group, do they have a principled disagreement with Donald Trump when it comes to his 2017 tax cut bill and deregulation? No. Do they have a disagreement with Trump continuing all the wars that he's continuing? No. Do they even disagree with his wall necessarily? No. So they don't. The idea that there's ideological disagreement, it's not true. There's ideological agreement. But they want to put a smiley face and a happy face on the U.S. empire. That's what they want to do. And so, listen, man, I think that this kind of stuff is embarrassing. And I think that the saddest thing to me is when you see people who are Democrats, people who are on the left, kind of take any argument that's used against Trump and they just bolster it because it's an argument used against Trump. So in their mind is definition correct just because they don't like Trump. It's like, no, you gotta be more potent than that and more intelligent than that, and craft arguments as if you're genuinely trying to convince people who are on the fence or people who don't or people who disagree with you. If everybody acted like that in public discourse, we'd be so much better off. If every time people were making arguments or crafting ads that they made it so that, hey, I'm trying to convince somebody who's on the fence, or I'm trying to convince somebody who doesn't agree with me necessarily, then you'd get a lot more convincing arguments. Instead, this is like, a bunch of people on the hashtag resistance establishment Democratic bubble sucking themselves off, thinking that this is like the best attack ad ever. And you got a bunch of lame Republicans who agree with Trump on policy, who are like, is Trump doing well? I don't know. Yeah, okay, so Trump might be struggling a little bit. I think Trump's issue, by the way, is more that he does drugs, like he does speed. He does uppers, and that like affects him sometimes. So I think that that's his biggest issue. But again, you really want to have that conversation? Say a little something about Joe Biden. You going to try to look me in the eye and tell me that you think Joe Biden's doing all hunky-dory and he's all there and it's the same Joe Biden that we saw in the 2012 debate against Paul Ryan? Please, son. Please fall back with your stupidity. I hate this. This ad is so dumb. Give me something tangible, dog. Give me something Guys, I'll just give you one fact. Let me give you one fact. Just one. We have, right now, a pandemic happening. We already had about 28 million people who didn't have health insurance. Now you have to add at least another 20 million on top of the 28 million who didn't have health insurance. Where's your attack ad on that? Before COVID-19 even hit, under Trump, between 7 and 9 million people lost their health insurance. You could craft an ad with that fact alone, ladies and gentlemen, that fact alone, but they didn't because it's substantive and they don't really care. They'd rather play this stupid partisan game, and it's annoying and it's obnoxious, and I don't know how anybody watches this and thinks they're nailing it.